Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna do a little project, and that is making some custom keyrings. This is, I think, one of the best uses for these small laser engravers, whether you want to do it as a gift for a friend or maybe even start a small business, because engraving leather is very easy. It's one of the nicest, it gives you one of the nicest surface finishes with these blue dyed lasers. And it's also quite inexpensive to make, and you can easily make several custom sizes. I've prepared a drawing for you with some measurements of the thing I'm gonna do today, so you have a point to start off, and then you can customize it from there and like test out your favorite keychain sizes and looks. So without further ado, let's get right in. So here are all the supplies we need to make our stuff. We need a piece of scrap leather. This is about 3 millimeters thick, which is a nice thickness. Then we need some keyrings. These are 25 millimeters. I wouldn't use smaller ones because you need a bit of size. You will see later why. Then you need some rivets. These kits can be bought off Amazon for not a lot of money. Just buy a kit so you get every size and you can experiment what you want to do, and a knife to cut out the leather. If you don't forge your own knives, then you could just use like a Stanley cutter and that's gonna work. So here we are in the Laser GRBL software, and as a first step we're gonna import our drawing. So this is the drawing of the cutout I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you a screenshot here so you can screenshot it yourself and use it as I'm doing here in this video. We're gonna use the auto trim image option that removes all the unnecessary stuff and makes it so that we can get the measurements correct. Then I'm gonna turn smoothing off because it's not necessary here. I'm gonna turn adaptive quality off, and I'm gonna turn the filling off. As you can see, it will make two engravings, right? So you're gonna have a sliver of unused material. This can be mitigated by using this outline image option. If I'm gonna click in here and I'm gonna get a bit lucky. Yeah, okay. So now it's gonna do just a simple cutout. However, then it's not possible to engrave this horse here. So I'm not gonna use this option. I'm just gonna leave that I have some waste, but if you're gonna punch the holes yourself, then you don't need it. So auto trim, filling off, adaptive quality on, and smoothing off. Then we're gonna go to the next part. Here we're gonna set the size to 110 millimeters. This engraver should have 130 millimeters of travel. However, I found when working with it that it will bump into the axis stop if you're gonna set it higher than this. Unfortunately, you can't get any larger than that. But that's how it is. Laser power 100% for cutting, and then I'm gonna try it with 100 millimeters per minute. And if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna do a second pass. And if you're done, just create, and you're here in the software, and we are ready to start the engraving. So here we are in the engraver. For positioning, you're gonna want to put your laser head pretty much all the way to the left and pretty far to the back so that it's as close as possible to the air assist, and it's gonna remove all the soot particles. Then you're gonna load your workpiece into your software and use the put laser to bottom left corner option in the Laser GRBL software. Then you're gonna turn on the laser for focusing and position your workpiece so that the laser is on the bottom left corner. Then you can use the draw a square option so that it's gonna draw a square around your workpiece. And if your square is entirely on your piece of leather, you know you're positioned correctly and you can start the engraving. And this is now a finished piece. What I did to save some time is when it did the cutting, I saw that it was engraving the holes first and then it did the inner cut. So when it finished the inner cut, I just aborted the program. You can see here on the side it started to do the second cut, and then I just turned the program off to save like 1 or 2 minutes. But if you look at the backside, it basically cut all the way through. I'm gonna try to pull it out and see how it works. The workpiece is now free. It did require a bit of scoring with the knife, but it came out pretty easily. If I were to do this again, maybe lower the speed to 90 millimeters per minute, and then it should cut all the way through. Let's look a bit closer on the edges. If we can see it, they are burnt obviously, but there aren't really any burn marks on this side, and since the edges usually are gonna be blackened anyway because it looks quite nice, if you treat the edges, then I think this is fine. As you can see here, if you put some beeswax on this, it's gonna look pretty nice, I think. So let's go on to assembling our keychain. Now let's go on to the assembly. We're gonna wanna take a rivet kit. You can get this cheaply on Amazon. Take your anvil, and this is your punch. Your punch has a rounded side in here. This is gonna be for the top. Then you're gonna grab yourself a fitting rivet. I already shortened this one so that it will fit our workpiece. Then this engraver has 2 bends. Make this bend, start it off with a ruler. Like put this in here. Put this in here and bend it in half. Then when these 2 holes are aligned, grab this piece, put it until all the 3 holes are aligned, and then press it together pretty hard, as hard as you can, to get the bend started. Gonna wanna do this a few times till it's nice, and then we can start riveting it together. Push your rivet all the way through. This is gonna be the nice side for me, so I'm gonna put the long piece in here. And then I'm gonna put the cap on this side. Then put this piece into the anvil. Put your rounded side on top. And then start hammering the rivet down. And it matted up a bit here, but this is gonna just wear in nicely. This one is a bit rounded on the back, which means it probably was a bit too long and needed to be shortened a bit more. But if you look at the bend, this is all very nicely squished together, which means that the rivet was only a tiny bit too long, but it still managed to press this all together. And then I insert my keyring. There are a few different options here. I think you could conceivably put the keyring in here before you rivet it together. I think this could look nice. You could also, on a V2 of this design, shorten this part so that it sits a bit nicer in here, or just pull this in to sit here, and then the keyring is also fine. But there are just endless options to customize this thing. Again, this is just a baseline. At last, we're gonna burn in our logo. Set it in that it's pretty much flat. You may need to squish it down or put something under there. You can engrave it before you fold it together, obviously. If you're confident in your measurements after a few tries, you should be able to do that. I'm just gonna do it after the fact. If you want some tips and tricks for leather engraving, I'm gonna link you a video in the description that I did before with some useful tips, and then just engrave whatever you want. And here is the finished engraving. I used 1000 millimeters per minute of speed and then 50% power and just normal horizontal filling. And it's a pretty nice engraving. And I believe a very nice looking keychain. And that was it for this little experiment. And I'm, as pretty much always, quite happy with the results. I think this looks very nice, and even though with this particular engraver we are a bit size limited, 11 centimeters isn't that long, you can do different shapes. Obviously, if you don't do this triple fold here and just do a simple fold, you gain about 1 centimeter, and then there's always the option to cut it out by hand and then just use the laser for engraving. But nonetheless, I'm quite happy, and I can recommend this to anyone if you want to do this just as a gift or maybe even just a little side business. It's definitely possible to use one of these engravers to produce nice looking keychains. That was it for this video. I hope you liked it and you found the video interesting and learned something. If you did, then consider subscribing and giving the video a like, and then I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.